Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is dead after being shot twice this morning.
Joe Biden sold nearly 1 million barrels of oil to a Chinese gas company that his son Hunter may still indirectly own a stake in.
Suppose I'm going to do this. They told me not to. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to tell the story.
We look at where we are economically, and we are we are stronger economically than we have been.
I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there.
Former Prime Minister of Japan Shinzo Abe was assassinated yesterday. Holy cow, all the stuff that we know will bring to you. President Biden has sent apparently a bunch of oil to a Chinese company that Hunter has a stake in, maybe. The White House press secretary says the economy is doing great, and we'll finally finish up with the promised Joe Biden forgetting names for 90 straight seconds. All that and more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for tuning in. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually their name, Jobob.
Ooh, hi from the dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is July 8th, the year of our Lord 2022. Brand new you in 22. Probably not, probably a little late for that. Don't want to bury the lead here. Former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated yesterday, late last night, our time, early there yesterday. I want to get to that story straight away. It is rough. I wanted to start off with a more reasoned, measured approach at this. There was an outlet, I believe, out of Australia, to a clip that I found that will play for you and kind of get the details going. But Shinzo Abe was 8 years consecutively as the Prime Minister of Japan, served from 2006 to 2007 as the Prime Minister, and then again from 2012 to 2020. Some people on the Twitter left were not super upset with the assassination of a prime minister, which again is not cool at all. Any assassination of anybody, regardless of whether or not you disagree with them politically, especially in a developed country, is not cool. Don't appreciate that on any side. But watch this clip from Australian News talking about what happened briefly, and then we'll kind of get into it. Also, if you haven't already, there's a couple thousand of you watching. We'd really appreciate if you click the little like button, maybe the little emoji button, or give us a comment, or the little share button. Just engage with the post in any way, shape, or form. Really, really helps us out. Continue doing what we do and keep the ball rolling here on the Daily Caller Live show. Watch this, and we'll discuss from the other side.
It was a campaign speech he would have given 1,000 times over. But in the crowd was a killer with a shotgun. 2 shots fired into the back of Shinzo Abe. An assassination of Japan's longest-serving prime minister. The shooter immediately arrested.
2 gunshots has been heard before the suspect was arrested, seized by the Secret Service.
The handmade gun visible on the ground.
Something like a toy. It looked like a bazooka, but I heard a big noise. Prime Minister Abe fell to the ground.
Dang, yeah, that's rough. So if you are looking and watching this, if you're just listening on the podcast, it's kind of hard to see, but if you're watching, we'll make this screen bigger. This is a photo of the gun that was used to assassinate the former prime minister. Is definitely homemade in some way, shape, or form. Now, I'm not going to right now use this to make the arguments that I think a lot of you are probably making in your head, which by all means, go for it if you feel like that's necessary, or in the comment section. Homemade gun used to assassinate the former prime minister of Japan. Japan famously has extraordinarily low violent crime and specifically gun deaths. Not saying anything other than that's just what is. This person, however, was a 41-year-old former Japanese Navy member, infantry. He was in the Navy in Japan and was able to craft a homemade weapon that was used to kill the prime minister, or the former prime minister. Again, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be out there making the, well, you can make guns at homes, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad argument, but not going to make that right now. The latest was they were unable to stop the bleeding. Too much blood was lost. Bullet pierced Abe's neck and heart. He died 3 hours. After about 3 hours of surgery, was declared dead at 5:53 p.m. Japanese time. Dang, this is nuts. This is a gnarly world. So NPR also tweeted something that Benny Johnson shared. I couldn't find this tweet. Just FYI, I was not able to go back and search where the tweet was. I think they deleted it. I don't think that Benny screenshotted something and then threw it, or I don't think he edited anything. I think this is a legit tweet, but I just will say that I saw a screenshot of this tweet from NPR. I wasn't able to find it. I would imagine they deleted it because the information changed. But this was the tweet from National Progressive Radio, Nakedly Progressive Radio, as some people call it. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, a divisive arch-conservative and one of the nation's most powerful and influential figures, has died after being shot during a campaign speech Friday in Western Japan, hospital officials say. Again, I can't find this particular tweet. I would imagine it's deleted, especially because the quote-unquote divisive arch-conservative part kind of is a leading thing for them to say. I don't know. But I also don't think that this was faked up by one of the most influential conservative voices. So that's that. That's really all there is to say about that. Again, if you're watching this, you can look at the picture. This was the weapon used, a homemade shotgun. Looks like it's wrapped in like tape. Fired 2 shots. There is video out there, but I'm not going to play you the video. You can go find that if you'd like. There's video of both shots being fired. I think it kind of it looked as if he thought a car backfired and was kind of like, whoa, what the heck is that? And then the second shot was, I believe, the one that did him in. So super sad, and just this is getting gnarly. World leaders getting assassinated is not cool, regardless of what you think about their policies. Whew. Wow. To lighter fare, which not really much lighter fare, but anything after that is lighter fare. Wanted to get to this. We're going to take you on a little bit of a story, a little journey, if you will, of the president and oil and his son and oil companies and shipping strategic petroleum reserves around the world, Hunter making more money, a lot of stuff that I want to cover here, and kind of, again, more on like a little story with some curves and some different things going on here. So on the presidential campaign trail, President Biden was, people are already hitting me in the comment section, why are we sending oil to China? Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry, Betty, we're on our way there. But the president on the campaign trail a lot talked about not using any sort of fossil fuels anymore, regardless whatsoever. I found this video floating around the internet. I believe, well, there's the little emblem right there. This is from the RNC, but it doesn't belittle it at all. It is still entirely relevant. This is the president of the United States, currently Joe Biden, talking about how we're going to completely eliminate fossil fuels. You're going to be shocked. Wonder, why is gas prices going up? Because, well, this was being said on the campaign trail. Watch this.
No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping new pipeline infrastructure? And
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
No new fracking.
We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
Have a transition from the oil industry, yes.
So there's that. The president going on and on and on about constantly in the Democratic debates, in the debates with President Trump, going on and on and about how he's going to eliminate fossil fuels and fracking and all that sort of stuff. Fine. Okay. That's what he wants to do. Part of the reason why gas and oil prices are going through the roof is because we're at capacity, I believe, in the United States. I think I read a report that we're like 95% capacity. So is Saudi Arabia. So is the rest of the world. There's a lot of at capacity around the world in terms of their oil refineries. Joe Biden, a few weeks ago, I believe 2 weeks ago, decided to blame the oil companies in the United States, saying, hey, you guys need to be processing more oil, build more refineries. The CEO of Chevron, I think it was Chevron, came out and said after that, hey, man, building a refinery costs billions of dollars, and we're not going to do that when you're out there saying you're going to eliminate our business. We're not going to make a massive investment in building new oil refineries if you and your party keep saying, hey, we're going to eliminate the way that you make money. Having said that, the Biden administration is continuing to push out more and more oil from the strategic oil reserves. This is from the New York Post. The Biden administration exported more than 5 million barrels of oil from its emergency oil reserves that were supposed to be used to combat high oil prices. Key word in there is exported. The U.S. sent the oil, which was taken from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the SPR, that the Biden administration tapped in hopes of getting energy prices under control to Asia and Europe. Reuters is reporting. The release of around 1 million barrels a day from the SPR through October has had a minimal effect in decreasing the prices. At the same time, it has depleted the nation's reserves to its lowest level since 1986. So what's going on here is the Biden administration, in an attempt to quell oil prices, has released oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is supposed to be used in case, I don't know, somebody invades, not supposed to be used to tamper down gas prices, but regardless, hasn't really had much of an effect. Because remember, I think if I remember correctly, they released 300 million barrels in like November, and one of the reporters in the White House press room was like, yeah, that's going to last us about 3 days. So in the grand scheme of things, 5 million barrels going overseas is not huge, but it is a problem, and a problem that I feel like we should be talking about. U.S. Customs data shows that Phillips 66, which is the fourth largest oil refiner in the country, shipped 470,000 barrels of sour crude oil to Big Hill SPR from the Big Hill SPR Strategic Petroleum Reserve storage facility in Texas to Trieste, Italy. Trieste is where the oil is loaded into the pipelines and then transported to destinations in Central Europe. The European Union is aiming to replace energy sources, which is lost result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So, yes, the fact that this is a bigger, longer thing, the fact that Europe has become dependent on Russian oil, they actually are having a huge problem with Russia invading Ukraine and deciding not to buy oil from them. Unfortunately, India and China doesn't care about human rights at all, so they're buying it from them anyway. But Europe has put themselves in a pretty bad position. Apparently, it's our job to bail them out, regardless of how many times they say that we're a bad country, but that is a thing in and of itself. Now, again, like we said, 470,000 barrels of oil, especially over an expanded period of time, is not a huge amount. I want to say we use like 50 million barrels a day. If somebody wants to check that and give me a comment in the comment section, because I can't check it right now while I'm doing this, that would be great. But it's not a huge amount, but it is weird as to why we're sending oil elsewhere. Which brings us to this. Yesterday, at the Medal of Honor ceremony, in which President Biden gave 17 Medal of Honors to different recipients, which is the highest civilian award, We're not going to get into all of that. I think he put a medal on backwards and then gave one to Megan Rapinoe, and people hate Megan Rapinoe. That we're not getting involved there. What I thought was interesting, though, is front row center was a guy that we've been talking about for a while named Hunter Biden. The idea of where's Hunter? There he is. He's sitting front row center at the Medal of Honor ceremony. Why? I'm not sure. Doesn't really make sense why the president or the White House or their communications team would want him in the eye of the storm, but there's Hunter right there, front row center. Now, here is something that is kind of yet to be fully fleshed out, especially when it comes to Joe Biden sending 5 million barrels and 1 million barrels specifically to a Chinese company. But there's some problems, supposedly, with where that's going. This is from the New York Post, by the way. Disgraced first son, Hunter Biden, got a front row seat to the White House as he watched his father hand out 72 honorees of the Medal of Freedom. Anyways, we won't get into that. Basically, Hunter's there front row center. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense why they would want to put him in the limelight, especially because of this. This is a report last night from Jesse Waters on Fox, which made the whole giving strategic oil reserves to various countries, including China, kind of interesting. Check this out. This is a really, really interesting report, again, from Jesse Waters of Fox News. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, I see a couple thousand of you watching. I get the little meter thing. If you wouldn't mind, it really, really, really does help us out if you click the little like button or the little share button or give us a comment or just really engage with the post in any way, shape, or form. Send it to a message. Send it in a message to your, I don't know, your neighbor or somebody who shares like-minded ideas with you, or share it publicly and make sure all of your progressive friends, which I hope you have, can understand what's actually happening in the world. But it really, really helps us out to get to more people. So really, really appreciate you doing that, taking a couple seconds to get that done. Anyways, here's Jesse Waters talking about something kind of interesting, and we'll talk about it after this.
Joe Biden sold nearly 1 million barrels of oil to a Chinese gas company that his son Hunter may still indirectly own a stake in. This is according to the Washington Free Beacon. The Biden administration announced in April they were selling strategic petroleum reserve barrels to the Chinese state-owned oil company Unipec, also known as Sinopec. But in 2015, Hunter's firm, BHR, bought a nearly $2 billion stake in Sinopec. In November, Hunter's attorney claims he divested his stakes in his Chinese holdings. But as of March, Chinese records still listed him as a 10% owner in the firm, BHR Partners, which a Georgetown professor valued to be worth a cool $20 million.
So that is what it is. Do we know for a fact if Hunter is still involved in this company? No. Chinese reports says that he is, even though he himself and his team has said he's completely divested. Now, we're being fair here. We don't jump to conclusions on this show. Maybe it takes a while for the Chinese paperwork to process. Maybe China, knowing that they've got a foothold into the White House and want to wreak havoc in the American system, is just leaving him on there to lead us on a wild goose chase. And maybe he is completely divested, but China wants to make it look like he's not. Or maybe, and I actually think that this is probably the most likely, Hunter Biden does still, in fact, own portions of the holdings company that owns the company that Joe Biden just sent 1 million barrels of oil to. Again, 1 million barrels of oil, not a ton, but it all looks weird and suspicious. Now, here's one other thing regarding this gas price bonanza going on here. We talk about millions of barrels of oil. People talk about numbers a lot. They talk about high numbers and, 5 million barrels of oil. And again, like we've been saying, 5 million barrels of oil, while it sounds like a lot, and while it is not nothing, is not a ton. The same goes for the other side of the aisle when they're talking about various profits of oil companies. One of the big arguments on the left currently is that the evil oil corporations are gouging prices and jacking them up for us to spend money on their oil. So, couple things going on here. This was a statement issued by a guy named John Fetterman. I believe he is the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania and currently a gubernatorial candidate for Pennsylvania. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. New Fetterman on ExxonMobil's projected $18 billion profits. So ExxonMobil is projected to make $18 billion in profit. It does not take a genius to see, this is the quote from the statement, it does not take a genius to see what's going on here. These companies are keeping prices high for consumers just so they can literally make $1 billion in profits. This price gouging BS, but he spells out the word, needs to end. Okay, fine. Maybe you're upset that a company, a United States company, ExxonMobil, is making a profit. Maybe you're a communist. Maybe you think profit is bad. But a lot of big numbers get thrown around all the time, especially when it has a million or billion added to it, that when put in context don't sound all that scary. Again, is 5 million barrels of oil going to overseas countries a good thing? No, but 5 million barrels of oil is not all that much. In the same way, this guy complaining about ExxonMobil projected to make $18 billion in profit and saying, oh my gosh, that's so evil. Well, for proper context, ExxonMobil in 2019 profits were almost $54 billion. Quick Google search could have told you that. So when people are talking about, oh my gosh, the $18 billion profit, make sure you keep in mind that's a huge hit from just a couple years ago. Is that a big number and is that a big profit? Yes. Yes, it is. But companies making money isn't a bad thing, you commies. And also remember, ExxonMobil is a privately held company, I believe, and therefore if you have a 401k and your 401k manager is smart and invested in stable things like fossil fuels, guaranteed that's helping you out too, including a bunch of people in Pennsylvania that are going to vote for this guy. So that's that. We went on a little bit of a tirade there, but it's just interesting. When you add context to bigger numbers, just keep in mind that that's always needs to be and both sides do it. I think we've adequately hit the right side of the aisle saying, 5 million barrels. Not that much. That's just the reality. Is it weird that it's going to foreign countries? And I don't know why we're doing that. Yes, it's weird. But in the grand scheme of things, not all that much. Let's see. Oh, and also in the same time when people are saying, somebody made $18 billion in profit. Yeah, well, that's like a third of what they generally make. So chill out, bro. There was a bunch of clips yesterday that from the White House press briefing room. Dude, I keep saying this. I'm sure Karine Jean-Pierre is a nice enough person, but she's not good at her job. Jen Psaki, while I disagreed with her on pretty much everything, did the job effectively. Again, it's a weird job. The job of the press secretary of the White House is to lie to the American people. We, the taxpayer, pay somebody to lie to us. Why we do that, I don't know. But at least Jen Psaki was good at that, maybe? I don't know. She was quick and understood what, what the job was. KJP, though, not all that quick, not all that good at the job. Peter Doocy asked her, hey, why do 88% of Americans believe that we're on the wrong track? She gave a weird answer, and then Peter Doocy asked a follow-up. This is the follow-up. Now, again, we have so many clips from this. We're not going to play them all. This is the one that we selected because the entire thing is just a train wreck. You know what? Maybe we'll go live and comment on while she's doing these press conferences. I don't think she's doing one today, but maybe next week we'll try that out if I'm here and not somewhere else. Maybe we'll take the press conference live and just react in real time because there's so many things in those press conferences that you're like, what? And I can't physically bring them all on here. Anyways, check this out from the press briefing room yesterday. Also, last plea. If you haven't already, click the little like button, or the little share button over here, or the little emoji button. Maybe this makes you extremely angry. Maybe it makes you happy, and maybe makes you laugh. Maybe it makes you sad. Just one of those, and then or choose a comment. What do you think about what's going on here, especially in the White House press briefing room? It really, really does help us out. The more people engage, the Facebook algorithm does what it does. The YouTube algorithm does what it does. So would really, really appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much in advance. Check this out. Peter Doozy asking KJP about things. Also, listen to what she says about the economy. That's the thing we're going to hit on. Watch this.
But do you think it's possible that your plan just is not popular with the American people right now?
I don't think it's that our plan is not popular with the American people. We know that the American people are feeling the high cost. We understand what they are feeling because when you look at inflation, when we look at where we are economically, and we are in a strong, we are stronger economically than we have been in history. When you look at the unemployment numbers at 3.6%, when you look at the jobs numbers, more than 8.7 million of new jobs created, that is important. But we understand that gas prices are high, and we understand that food costs are high, and that is because of a once in a generation pandemic and also Putin's war, and that's just the facts.
So if you think
all right, so KJP again saying the economy is great. What are you talking about? The economy is awesome. Nobody's buying that at all. The one thing that she did say at the end that's kind of an interesting twist, and maybe this is them coming around to the honesty side of the article or the aisle, as opposed to the super partisan side, or maybe this is incompetence at the White House press secretary thing, saying, "Oh yeah, the inflation is caused by the once-in-a-lifetime pandemic and also Putin's war." Because remember, Joe Biden just Wednesday in Ohio said the only reason that things are high right now is because Vladimir Putin, Russia, Russia, Russia. He keeps saying that. We keep broadcasting it, but that's is what it is. Let's see. All right. Here we go. I promised this yesterday, and as a person who makes promises, I will stand by my promises and deliver. This is a video floating around the internet. Look, I don't really take, well, that's not true. I was going to say I don't take pleasure in making fun of the president's old age and senility, but some of it's kind of fun. So if we're being honest here, it's a little bit of fun. But I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to have to play this 91-second video of Joe Biden forgetting people's names. I don't know. I'm going to get old someday. I hope I don't lose the ability to think or process. Unfortunately, it seems like it happens to all of us, and that's just an unavoidable consequence of getting older, which, again, is inevitable. Having said that, while I don't like making fun of people who can't think in the same way that they used to, this is the president of the United States, and I don't know, he should be able to do that, and it doesn't look good on the world stage when he cannot. So maybe, I don't know, some stroke of luck, he'll see this and decide, yeah, you're right. I can't do this anymore. But without further ado, here's this.
A solid meeting with
Hello, Biden, Obama, Democrat.
Javier Baccaria. Javier, Mr. Secretary.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris.
And I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there. I want to make sure we thank the secretary. Jill and I have always enjoyed seeing Pete and Kristen, which I have done personally with the president of China. It was President, my boss, Senator Shelley Caputo.
You may remember, I got in trouble when we were running against
the senator who was a Mormon, the governor, okay? The Instagram question answer with one of the leading soccer players in the world. The latest episode of Here's the Deal podcast with Andrew Young brought in a guy from Illinois who ended up being a great Secretary of Transportation. Secretary of...
Every day I between an hour and an half brief with a former head of our former Surgeon General. Anyway,
they're holding up the nomination of the president put forward for the Supreme Court. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
Yikes. So, yeah, I don't know. The president is not in the best mental state. So, you know, is what it is. Figured maybe we'll end the week on a laugh. Been kind of a tough week here. But, you know, such is the American political system at the moment. That is going to do it for us today and this week. All of you that continue to watch each and every day, really, really appreciate it. Again, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you sticking around, tuning in, and engaging with the posts in some way, shape, or form. Click a little like button, a little share button down over here, or comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the show. I don't know. I go through these every once in a while, the comment section, especially on the weekends. And there are some people that say, hey, do this or do that. And yeah, that's fair. Good, honest criticism. There's a bunch of other people that say, hey, jump off a bridge, which probably won't do. But really appreciate anybody sitting here watching this each and every morning. We'll be back Monday, same time, same place. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media accounts. Anybody in the comment section aware of the running joke here about this Chiron that is continued to be in our system here? That is wrong. Just type in JOBOB pretty much anywhere YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social. I need to use Truth Social more. I'm not. Gavin Newsom currently uses Truth Social more than I do. I probably should hop on that bandwagon. But yeah, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. You can send me stuff. A lot of people send me stuff pretty much every day, and they'll probably, 10-15% of it makes it on here. Sometimes it's stuff I've already seen, but I appreciate you guys all staying on top of that sort of stuff. So feel free to follow me on your social media accounts. Wow. Denise says, great watching you. Another Facebook user. I'm not sure who this is. Love the show. You know what? I love you guys. So appreciate you doing it. I'll stop jabbering on. Have a great weekend. Be safe. See you Monday. God bless America.